Hello everyone, what is going on? And welcome back to another video. And it's time for another updated presidential election prediction. So, yeah, I'm gonna get right into this. Well, actually, there will be preamble because I'm doing that right now. But, so, guys, I'll ask you to like and subscribe after the video because I don't want you to like before you even watch the video. But, yeah, so I missed clicking a ton today. So, guys, we are currently at 320 subscribers. So if y'all haven't subscribed and you're watching this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, so hopefully we can hit 330, hopefully. And then we also have me and Purple have a special guest on our podcast coming out tomorrow, and we think it'll be big news, and we hope to see you all there. So now it's time to actually start predicting the election. So we have 258 electoral votes that are contested, but not really, because some of these electoral votes are not contested. If I'm going to fill out the likely states, some of these likely states are somewhat contested, others are not really. So starting with New Mexico, New Mexico is actually a very Latino. It is very diverse. It has a lot of Latino population, and Donald Trump right now, he has a very low approval there. Negative 13 net, and especially with the Latinos, he's very bad there. In New Mexico is almost 50% a Latino. So yeah, and so let's talk about 2016, where Gary Johnson ran a very strong libertarian campaign. Let me hide that. As you can see, he got nearly 10% of the vote, his best out of any state, 73,000 votes. But so he did very well here, and he was the former governor, so that does certainly help him. But we have to remember that Gary Johnson isn't running this time. Trump and Clinton were historically unpopular. Biden is, 15 points more popular than Hillary Clinton, and Trump has lost popularity since 2016. So, I think overall we're going to see Biden carrying the state by a likely margin, probably improving here. It's okay. New Mexico is 47% Latino, and yeah, so I think we're going to see Biden get at least 50% of the vote here, and it'll be likely for him. And we're also going to talk about Minnesota, which it was very close in 2016, but we have to remember that Hillary Clinton had no appeal here. Start with Minnesota, Donald Trump has a negative 20 net approval, and especially like even with older voters, he's not doing well. That's a bad sign for him. Also, non-college graduates, he's doing very, very poorly. The one group he's winning with is Republicans. Every other subgroup, he's doing horrendous, and I think that bodes really well for Joe Biden. And I don't look at the polling here because in 2016, sorry, okay, so Biden's ahead by 7.4%. In 2016, it was a lot different. So I'm gonna pull up a tab. Okay, so in 2016, sorry, I had to edit out this part where I pulled up the tab, but let's go to Minnesota. Let's see Minnesota. So at this point in time, on August 5th, 2016, Donald Trump had a. Oh, okay, they're not going to show us that. Okay, well, okay, they're not going to show us. So I was relying on the graph, but apparently not. So basically, general rule of thumb is comparing Biden's lead to what Hillary Clinton's lead was at the time in Minnesota, but he has a bigger lead than she ever had because on average she had like a 3-point lead here, and she ended up winning by 1.5. So 7.5% lead for Biden does bode well for him. Plus the fact that he's outperforming Hillary Clinton in literally every demographic subgroup you could find. So I think he'll win Minnesota by a likely more. Could even be safe or could be lean. Same with Michigan. Now Michigan is interesting because it's more diverse in Minnesota, but generally their white voters are more conservative than those in Minnesota. So Donald Trump does not have a good net approval in Michigan, never has, to be honest. Negative 15 net. So as you can see, he's doing better here than he is in Minnesota, but he's not doing well. And he's actually doing better with the older voters. That's good for him. But in 2016 he won these like 2-1, I think, or something like that. So yeah. And postgraduate, he's doing pretty poorly with. College graduate, that's actually good that he's oh no, I don't want age 65 plus. That's why. So yes, he's not doing well with non-college graduates, but he's doing better than he is in Minnesota. With men, he's doing actually better, and he's actually doing pretty poor in Minnesota. So I think in Michigan is actually just because of their white voters being more conservative than those in Minnesota is going to vote to the right of Minnesota barely. but they're both gonna be, Minnesota's gonna go to Biden by like 7, Michigan 6. So yeah, and also Hillary clinching and very close to winning here, and there was gerrymandering, there was voter suppression. Why does it not want to let me? Okay, here we go. There was gerrymandering, there was voter suppression. Remember, Debbie Stabenow in the Senate race. I don't think there wasn't a Senate race, but in the House races, they actually. Okay, I'm trying to find. Can I pull up this? Ooh, those are cool. I'm gonna have to pull up another tab. So I'm gonna edit this out. Okay, here it is. So, as you can see here, look at this county map. Let's compare it to what we see here. Debbie Stabenow, she won these light red counties easily, whereas Hillary Clinton could not win them. So even someone like Debbie Stabenow, who has a lot less appeal to the Rust Belt than Hillary Clinton does, say, for her to be able to win that says a lot, and I think it'll flip back to Joe Biden, who has basically the most appeal to a Rust Belt, to the Rust Belt as possible. Okay, any other likely states? I'm gonna leave it. Oh, Virginia as well. So Virginia, it was actually closer than a lot of people expected in 2016 because Tim Kaine was Hillary Clinton's running mate. But again, Hillary Clinton, she has not a ton of appeal to conservative Democrats who went for Trump, and they're probably going to go for Trump again. But some of them are going to switch over to Joe Biden. So he has that going for him. And I don't really want to look at the polling because it's not too. I mean, sure we can look at the polling, but it's not horrible for Trump, but he's losing by 10. So, to be honest, I don't think he has really a chance here. But what I do want to compare it to Hillary Clinton's polling in. So yeah, so let's see the polls in Virginia. They put they have this handy little graph. Let's go to August 5th. Clinton had a 5.3% lead. Biden has a 10% lead. Clinton won. So, yeah, this will stay with the Democrats, to be honest with you guys. So, likely Republican states, that's Alaska, Mississippi, South Carolina. And so, I'll talk about those at first, and let's go to fill out those states. So, to be real with you guys, I don't think that Biden really has a chance in any of these states, except for maybe Missouri in a best-case scenario. He can make it tilt, but Democrats have a good governor candidate there who's going to definitely outperform Joe Biden. But we're talking about Alaska being, less third party voting there, which did actually hurt Hillary Clinton because Trump, he only got like 51% of the vote there in 2016, if I can pull that up. He got 53% of the vote, Hillary Clinton got 38%. So, yeah. But overall, Alaska's a weird state to analyze. The polling actually is neck and neck. Like, there was one poll that had Trump only had by 1, so, I don't really think that Hillary or Joe Biden has a chance here. So, South Carolina, Mississippi, they could be safe. I really don't think South Carolina's going to be South Carolina's not going to be within a 5-point margin for Joe Biden. Because it's just voter suppression is going to happen, all that stuff. And same with Mississippi's going to be not too close. It'll like barely slip into the likely column. Could even be safe. I wouldn't be surprised if it's safe. Missouri, I generally like to characterize it as likely because in 2016 Hillary Clinton did poorly here. But remember, but Senate races, Democrats have not been horrible in Senate races because in the 2016 Senate race, Jason Kander, who I know was a very conservative Democrat, he only lost by I think 3. I remember watching him. I thought he was actually going to win that race, but that didn't turn out well for him. And then in 2018, I know Claire McCaskill was the incumbent, but she only lost there by. How much did she lose there by? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, we can pull it up. Just in Missouri. I think she lost by 4. Oh, she lost. Okay, so she actually lost by. She lost by a likely margin, but barely. Whereas in 2012, she beat Todd Akin. By a decent amount. In 2006, she won against Jim Talent. So, yeah, basically Missouri is going to be not too competitive, but it'll still slip into the likely margin, kind of like Mississippi. Same with Indiana. No, I don't really think Biden has a chance here, but Trump is losing support here, especially because his approval has consistently been going down now. If we can pull up, let's go to Indiana. He's somewhat popular here, but it's been declining because since he was up here, now he's down here. Okay, and Yeah, I think that'll be it for likely Republican. Now we're going to go to the contest. Like, these are the only states that are really contested. I know I do characterize Minnesota and Michigan as contested, but that's only because Minnesota was very, very close in 2016. Michigan for Trump, so it would be dumb of me not to characterize it as so. Nevada, I'm big on saying it's lean because of the fact that Democrats have never been able to, like, pull away with it. Like, I know the 2016 Senate race they won by 6, or 2018 Senate race they won by 6 against the incumbent, but he was like Dean. Like, that would be like John Hickenlooper in Colorado winning by 6 is not much to brag about. He should be winning by 15, something like that. Nevada, Trump is actually doing decent here, but he's still not very popular there. So, yeah, I do want to see the polling because it actually does, because polling in Nevada actually put Trump ahead in the polls in 2016, and he ended up losing that state. So Nevada, they do generally underestimate Democrat support there, and when they have Biden ahead by 6.3. I'm just not going to trust the polls too much here, because of the fact that Nevada, I just think, is going to be close. It could very well be likely, and I'm really on the fence about this, but I'm going to stick with it being lean. And let's go to Arizona is also going to be lean, and I think Arizona has the potential to put the left and the right of Nevada. Remember, Trump was actually somewhat popular here when he started out. I mean, 47% disapproval and 45% approval, and he actually really close to being 500 there. But this has never really been in play for the Democrats since the 90s. But I mean, the polling has been really, really bad for Joe Biden or for Donald Trump here. And you can see, his lead is shrinking a little bit, but like he had a huge lead in a swing state to begin with, and his lead is getting bigger and bigger. So it's back up to nearly 4 points. And I'm going to trust that because they did actually underestimate Hillary Clinton by 0.5% in the polls back in 2016. And Hillary Clinton, all Joe Biden has to do is improve on his mark. Hillary Clinton should have won this by like 20 points. She ended up winning by 13. So all he has to do is improve here, run up the score there, and flip Maricopa, which he's going to. Remember, Kirsten, she won this county by 60,000 votes. Trump only won it by 30,000. So, yeah. Plus, having Mark Kelly on the ballot is only going to help the Democrats. And remember, Joe Biden has better name recognition than Kirsten Sinema. And again, Mark Kelly will win that race against Martha McSally. Kirsten Sinema ended up winning. So I think it'll be a lean. And let's go. So I actually previously characterized Wisconsin as tilt. I'm moving up to the lean column just because of Trump failing to gain traction in Wisconsin. Remember, he actually had decent approval here for a while. He was actually polling ahead of Joe Biden, believe it or not. Let's see if we can edit this HTML to make it be this. Okay, that worked. So yeah, Donald Trump actually had a very small lead here, and remember, he outperformed the polls by nearly 6% in 2016. Now Biden's 7.5% lead. So I'm not going to say that it's out of play for Trump because it's certainly not, and it went for him in 2016. But the forecasts are all giving Wisconsin to the Democratic Party. Let's see if we can pull up 2020 presidential election, because I want to see the race ratings on Wikipedia. So let's see. Let's go. Okay, the presidential election in Wisconsin. I know I spelled Wisconsin wrong. It's okay. Okay, sorry. So I'm just gonna try to find just in Wisconsin, because I want to see the race ratings. I think you're like lean Democrat, because I read it as lean Democrat as well, and me and most of the. Okay, this is the same thing that rated Arizona as safe. So we're gonna just ignore that because that's no. Lean, tilt, likely. I can see that happening. The JHQ forecast likely, lean. So yeah, we're definitely gonna see. I do think that Joe Biden has a chance at winning Wisconsin, or that Donald Trump has a chance of winning Wisconsin. But again, when you have such bad approvals there, the polls are having you down, and the polls have had like a 7%. How do you say this? 7% flip, because in February he's leading by 1. Now he's trailing by 6.5. So yeah, in all, Hillary Clinton. If we look at the 2018 Senate races, let's find Wisconsin. Timmy Baldwin, she won easily here by nearly 11, or by actually literally 10.9, and she won. Look at all this blue. Let's compare that to what happened in 2016. Red. His Trump messaging. All he talked about was here. He talked about the middle class, how jobs are going overseas. Joe Biden is a much stronger candidate than Hillary Clinton was overall, especially in the Rust Belt. So I think it'll flip. Same with Pennsylvania is going to flip to the Democratic Party, and I want to see the polling in. See if we can edit the HTML because I generally like to do that instead of searching it up. All right, so luckily that dumb thing there. So yeah, overall likely lean. I'm rating it as a lean just because again, Donald Trump never popular here. 2016, Hillary Clinton, she barely lost this, and Donald Trump all over social media they played that Hillary Clinton saying, "We're going to take a lot of coal miners' jobs," and it was taken out of context, and she didn't actually mean that, but it hurt her here a lot because of Trump's messaging. Whereas Joe Biden, he was born in Scranton, the heart of the middle class, Lackawanna County. That's where he was born. Hillary Clinton still won it here, and it'll flip to the Democrats. Okay, so yeah. New Hampshire's also mean. So we have a lot of lean Democratic states, in case you haven't noticed. Okay, not Vermont. So New Hampshire was barely won for Hillary Clinton, and the polls are actually spot on there. Hillary Clinton won by 0.2%. The polls had her ahead by 0.2%. So we're going to trust the polls on New Hampshire. Let's see. Why does it not want to let me pull? So Hillary Clinton, she won here by 0.4%. I remember the polls were exactly spot on. So let's check out the polls. In New Hampshire, Joe Biden is by 9. So I don't think it'll win by 9. I think it'll be closer than that. And some people have started characterizing this as safe, but it was so close in 2016 that I think it'll be contested. Although Trump has a very bad approval, like even back in February, where he was doing a lot better than he is now, he still had a negative 18 net approval. So overall, lean likely. I'll go with the lean there. So yeah. Now we're gonna go over to our. Oh, I forgot to characterize Texas as like Republican. Again, I've been getting a lot of hate for this, but remember, Texas. I don't think I underestimated Democrat support there in 2016, and the polls actually do have Joe Biden ahead. But I mean, I'll be real with you guys. Voter suppression is going to be prevalent here. Having John Cornyn on the ballot is only going to help Donald Trump. Plus, I know Donald Trump civics has him unpopular, but he's not crazy unpopular there. Plus, the fact that in 2016 he still did very well here, and people talk about Beto O'Rourke did pretty well there too, and he almost flipped it. Ted Cruz is much more popular than Donald Trump. Beto O'Rourke had the time and energy that Joe Biden doesn't have to focus on every single county in Texas. Joe Biden is running a national campaign. Beto O'Rourke ran a Senate campaign in the state of Texas, which is like not even like an eighth of the size of America. And the fact that Beto O'Rourke is a lot younger than Joe Biden and is more charisma. So, yeah. Now we're going to go to our lean Republican states. And I'm only going to label 2 states. First, okay, no. First, we're going to do Nebraska's 2nd district as lean. Not a ton of data on this. I'm just going to go with my gut, and that's just it'll be lean just because I think it was lean in 20. Let's see what it was in 2016. Nebraska. Okay, let's see. So basically, this district, Clinton ended up winning it, but it's like basically suburbs of it. So Democrats have to like run up the score in this district to have a chance, and I think Biden's going to do that, but will come close and fall short. Georgia, voter suppression. Like if this was a fair election, Georgia would be tilt Democrat probably, but it's not, unfortunately. And the polling. I know the polling is pretty good for Joe Biden. Plus Trump's approval there is falling consistently. So, but Joe Biden, he actually had a lead. It's shrinking a little bit, but not too much to be worried about. I know JHK forecast actually did put Joe Biden ahead in Georgia for a little bit, but not really as toss-up-y as it should be. So, yeah, Hillary Clinton will be losing this by nearly 6 points, and I think it'll be closer than that, so it'll be lean. And now we're going to go over to our tilt states. As you can see, there are some contested states still left to be determined, so we're going to start with the Democrats. North Carolina's going to be tilt. It could be – Senate race is probably going to be lean because, see the polling in North Carolina. I want to just show you guys. So Joe Biden currently has a 2.2% lead. Never really actually was doing horribly here, even. Okay. But, to be real, I don't think that Donald Trump will I don't think Joe Biden's going to win this by more than 2 points because that is a lean margin. But let's see the Senate race. See that? Cutting him up by 9, by 11, 12, 9, 9. Cunningham can outperform Joe Biden. Okay, so sorry, I'm kind of blanking what I was going to say, but 2016, we have to take into account that in 2016, Donald Trump, he only won this by a lean margin, and there was voter suppression because there was an incumbent GOP governor. Now it's a Democrat and a Democrat, so Secretary of State. That's going to help the Democrats there for sure. And I'm going to try to compare the lead for Hillary Clinton to the one so in August, Joe Biden has a 2.1% lead. Let's see what it was. Clinton had a 0.5% lead. So actually, that would actually put Clinton ahead, or that would actually put Trump ahead by weighting the polls. But remember, the pollsters have fixed their methods, and I'm not applying that logic to Texas, for example, because if I weighed the polls using that, Texas would be lean Democrat. So I try not to weight the polls by that because it's weird. Florida's can also be tilted. Now, I know I had I actually did a swing state analysis of this, and I'm actually going to be continuing that series next with, I think, Iowa. Yeah, Iowa we're going to be doing next. But basically, the bottom line is Florida would be very competitive, as it always is. It even in 2008, a landslide year for the Democrats, it was still a lean state, and I don't think it'll be lean just because because the Republicans have been doing a very good job at statewide elections, especially in 2018. They were behind in the polling, both Senate and governor races there, and they still ended up pulling it out narrowly. So polls in Florida do actually tend to underestimate GOP support, but you can't win a race when you're behind by 5.3 in a state that is trending towards the left overall. And the fact that Trump is losing support with older voters in the Panhandle. So in 2016, he was able to run up the numbers with them. Now he won't be able to do that, and I think that'll lead to his demise in Florida. So yeah, those are our tilt states for the Republican, for the Democrats. I just want to see what JHK forecast says. Florida. So originally, I think they had Trump ahead in Florida. Yeah, so that's interesting that they would do that. Okay, so let's go to Iowa. I'm going to say this is lean, likely because I want to pull up 2018. Let's do 2018 House election results, CNN. Sorry, I generally don't like to type when I'm on, but I do it a lot because I always forget to pull up that one tab. So Iowa, Democrats did very, very well in Iowa. Actually, surprisingly, they flipped. So I expected them to win in the 3rd district with Cindy actually beating David Young, but I did not expect Abby Finkenauer to be able to pull that off. And she actually won by a likely margin. So that's what was so interesting about this. And then David Lipsack easily won here. So, I think that the House is going to go to the Democrats now. This was actually close in 2016 or 2018 because Steve King was a racist running against J.D. Schulten, who was pretty popular. Schulten's running again, but she's running against Randy Feenstra. So it'll be close, likely, but not too close. So that'll help the Republicans. Plus the fact that they have Trump on the ballot. Trump is still somewhat popular in Iowa, and I get a lot of comments saying that I live in Iowa and I only see Biden yard signs. That's mostly because Joe Biden in Iowa is pulling ahead of Trump, and that's why I think that Teresa Greenfield will outperform Joe Biden in the Senate race there, and I think she'll end up winning it. But yeah. Now Ohio will be going to Trump as well. Ohio has a large black population. Let's see. Ohio approval for Trump, -4%. He's actually doing okay there for a while, but since then has kind of flopped. So yeah, I guess I'm going to stay with just that. And no, I do want to weight the polling in Ohio because the polling was actually underestimating Trump by a decent amount. Although it actually did put him ahead on election day. But he still ended up winning it by 9. So let's see. Let's go to August. So Quinn was ahead by 0.8, and she ended up losing it by 8. So that's a bad margin for. But again, on election day, it gets more accurate where it had Trump ahead by that. So now compare the polls to what we have today, and looks like Trump ahead by 0.5, whereas Biden had a lead for a good amount of time. But so yeah, I think Trump's gonna narrowly hold on to it. But people are counting out Ohio and Iowa for the Democrats. I remember in 2012, Romney had like a 10% lead in the polling in Ohio, back in June, July, Then it narrowed up to like a 3% lead for him, and then on election day, Obama won it by 4 points. So Ohio has a weird way of voting right with the country, because Obama won the election by I think 5 points, and he won Ohio by 4. So like back in April, Ohio was a likely Republican state. Now it's kind of tilting towards the GOP and could go to the Democrats. I actually saw, as my good friend Pro Political Talk, he actually predicted that Ohio would go to Joe Biden, and that's a very plausible prediction. So, yeah. Lastly, main second district is going to be tilted. Now, Obama won it by the Democrats have had a big history of winning here into 2016 when it had like a 10-point swing to the GOP. But I'm going to basically keep it with Trump, mostly because it's so rural and because it is trending very white and trending to the right. So, yeah, I'm just going to say this is my prediction. I haven't changed a lot. States most likely to flip for my prediction: Iowa, Ohio, and Florida, probably. Then North Carolina. Then I'll say Nebraska second district. But so this is the prediction, guys. Thanks for watching this video. And yeah, so special guest on the Pro Projections podcast, and be sure to be there. Like this video, subscribe to me if you haven't already, so we can see more content, and see you on the next one. Bye, guys.